Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Photography Tips and Tricks, your show for gear, tips, inspiration, anything that you need to take your photography over to the next level. My name is RC, and this show is sponsored to you by KelbyTraining.com. If you want to see some of the world's best instructors teaching you how to be able to get the most of your camera, the best place for you to go is right here at KelbyTraining.com. There's tons of information that you can take a look at. So I would encourage you just to go right to the site. We've got a bunch of classes on storage, photography. So Arches and Canyons is coming very, very soon. This is a place for you to go. It's over at KelbyTraining.com. Now, this week I wanted to talk a little bit about fall color and pumpkins specifically, right? I know that there's a lot of you that are going out there and going to take pictures of your kids at pumpkin patches. And I wanted to offer you guys one simple tip. Well, actually probably two, but we'll stick with those two, only those two. You have to be that person who's going to be using a diffuser. The diffuser is the single most important thing for you to carry with you if you want to make a great shot out in open air. So I'll take you back in time, right? So these are pictures of my daughter a couple of years ago, right? So that's generally what it looks like when you're working inside of an open environment, right? So the general premise of when you're shooting with light, right? The smaller the light source and the further the light source is away from your subject, the harsher that light is going to be. So if you're shooting in an open air scenario, what you have is you have this giant light that sits really, really far away, lighting the subject, and it just kind of creates something that looks really, really weird. So she looks cute, but if you look right here, there's a lot of very, very harsh shadows. Now, you can go to any website, you can go to B&H, and you can find yourself a diffuser. The bigger the diffuser that you can carry, the better. What you're trying to do is you're trying to take the sun and you're trying to hit it with that diffuser, and you're gonna soften that light. It creates a light source that's much bigger than your actual subject. And the bigger that it becomes, the softer it looks, right? And then you want to be able to get that nice and close. So I carry a diffuser with me in the trunk of my car all the time. Do I look dumb going out to the pumpkin patch and opening up a giant diffuser? Of course I do. However, I let my wife do that. So I'm taking the picture. So while it looks dumb, it definitely does help. So you'll see here, right? We have this one shot. If we look at this picture, right? That's what everybody's pictures look like. And you'll see that you have a little bit of the park area that you have right there. Now, as you start putting that diffuser into play, watch. Bam, automatically. Now, she's a little upset because she's sitting in straw, but don't worry about that, right? Now, at that point, automatically, there's a very, very big change between that and that. So now, all I have to do at this point is just wait for a good expression. And as soon as that expression happens, I can go ahead and actually reframe, get a little bit tighter, and you have a great shot. So that one piece of equipment will do great. It will do wonders when you're working with that. Now, I'll show you another time where we did that, right? We turn it into a spot where she's actually having fun with it, right? It's that big. Aaron, let me just go ahead and just go back over here to show you. It's that big. She's carrying it around, right? She'll play with it, but look at the way her face looks. A lot of that time, that light is a lot softer. So that's what it actually looks like when we go to an environment. You have to also keep in mind, though, you have to be very careful that when you do that, make sure that you get one that's big enough to cover your entire area. You see this line right here? You see how it looks great on this side? Not so great right here. It's blowing most of that stuff out. So the bigger you can carry it, the better it is, right? Most of these things collapse and sit inside of a trunk already. So even though if it's a little unwieldy and you have to carry it around and do that kind of stuff, it's okay. But just adding that diffuser will make it infinitely better for those shots. You will walk out with pictures that you can post on Facebook of pumpkins where it looks a lot nicer. Now let's get and take a quick break. When we come back, I'll talk to you a little bit about a composition tip when you're doing this stuff so that your shots look really, really good. We'll be right back.
The gear isn't your trophy. It's the photographs you take. Hey, I'm Zach Arias. Follow me for 2 days as I shoot street portraits. And then I sit down with a Pulitzer Prize-winning photo editor to talk about photography. So check out my class, the $5,000 Challenge, at KelbyTraining.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Photography Tips and Tricks. RC here. I've got one short tip for you while you're out there making these pictures. The one thing that you can do that can be very, very different for making a good compositional shot of children is to make sure that you get low at their level. A lot of the times when you're shooting, you tend to see this shot, right? You tend to see a shot that sits pretty high up. This is actually not that high, but here, let me show you one where I actually think that this is something that we commonly see. Right? So you're looking almost kind of as an adult level, right? That orange caution tape isn't doing us any favors. But what you want to do with this is you want to go ahead and you want to make sure that you get yourself a lot lower. Get yourself within eyesight of the child. Get even lower still from there if you want. That will give you something that will be a little bit more interesting. So you'll see right now, I took everything else out of the frame and I got myself a little bit lower than I was. I'm not standing and looking down at them. I'm looking a little bit lower at the eye line, right? If you get down even lower still, you get some really, really interesting shots and you have that nice diffuse light and that tends to look really, really good. So we'll take a look at one last example over here, right? If you shoot from really high, not good. If you shoot from a lower angle, that's even better. So we don't want this, we want, right? That's kind of okay, right? You're still kind of shooting down, but the goal when you're working with all of this stuff is to make sure that you're nice and at eye level and get rid of all of the other elements. If you're shooting pumpkins, just fill it with pumpkins. You're gonna get a great, great shot. Now, there's a couple of other things that I wanna talk to you guys about. We have an ebook deal. The ebook deal, you go to peachbit.com/, just go to peachbit.com/KelbyTV. You're gonna put in a code, KelbyTV. You're gonna get 40% off of this book. It's the Adobe Photoshop Lightroom 5 Classroom in a Book. If you want this as an ebook, 40% off. All you gotta do is go to peachbittv.com/KelbyTV. Make sure you put in the code KelbyTV and you'll get that. Now, I have a photography website that I want you to take a look at. And this is my mentor and friend, well, Gregory Heisler. I don't call him a mentor, he's like a mentor from far away. But this is a guy that I'm a big, big fan about. He's got some phenomenal portrait work. If you want to take a look at some of his stuff, make sure that you go to gregoryheisler.com, and it's Heisler Portraits. He's also got a book coming out called 50 Portraits. So you might want to take a look at that one. That'll be a good Christmas present for somebody who's really into portraiture photography. But the website you want to take a look at, gregoryheisler.com. Now, contest time. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go to the Photography Tips and Tricks website. I want you to find this episode, the most recent episode that we're working on. From here, go into the episode itself, go all the way down to the bottom, leave a name, leave an email, leave a website, leave a comment. Tell us what you want to see in the show. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. Tell us something. Our producers will pick one person, and that person will win Food Photography and Lighting, a commercial photographer's guide for creating irresistible images by Terry Campbell. So one of you guys is going to be able to win this book, and your pictures for food are going to look great. That's pretty much it. Now, thanks so much for coming by, guys. Hopefully we'll see you guys here next week on Photography Tips and Tricks. Take care.
Welcome everybody, RC here. Welcome to Exposing HDR here on Kelby Training.
Go away!
Go!